Okay, let's take a look at C++ and function templates. So a function template is a generic function that can work with any data type. The programmer writes the specification of the function but substitutes parameters for data types. So when the compiler encounters a call to the function, it generates code to handle specific data types used in the call. So a function template is not an actual function, but a template, and the compiler uses the template and generates one or more functions to handle the different data types. So for example, integer or double. So that means we don't have to write multiple overloaded functions to handle different data types. We can write one template function or function template to handle multiple data types. So let's take a look at some C++ code here on the screen. You can see on the right hand side is the output to this program here. So going up the top here, looking at how we define a function template, and this is the keywords that we use. So we use template and we use our angled brackets with class, and this capital here is the generic data type T. We can have multiple generic data types in there separated by commas, but in this case we only have one. So this function will return a generic data type of type T, and this function will also take as a parameter a generic data type of type T. So when the compiler sees this syntax, the compiler, and we call the function using maybe an integer or a double, the compiler will fill in the appropriate data type for T. So if we supply it as a parameter a integer here, T will get replaced, the compiler will replace T with int. So down here we have our main function. We're setting the precision. This is an internal function to C++ to set the number of decimal places. Then we're printing out a string to the command line, enter a integer. The system will wait for the user input and will assign that user input to user int. So we've typed in 6 and that has been assigned to user int. We'll then output another string after pressing enter a floating point value, and that's this string here. Once again the program will wait for the user input, and this time we typed in 0.5, so that'll be a double type, and that'll get assigned to user double variable. Then we'll print out another string. Here are your squares, so this string here, and we'll also print out to the screen after calling the square function with the integer user int as a parameter gets applied to T. The compiler will see that it is an integer and replace T with int and carry out this this statement here. So it'll basically square the number and return it as a type int as well. So that 6 times 6 is the 36. That's a string there in the middle, and we'll call the function again square, and we'll supply that 0.5 to T. The compiler will see that and replace T with a double data type. So 0.5 multiplied by 0.5 is 0.25.